Before you skip this video, pause for a moment. If life has felt heavy, confusing, or quietly exhausting, this message is not random. Don't multitask. Don't listen halfway. Stay with this until the end, because what you're feeling has a reason, and understanding it now can change how the next phase of your life unfolds. There is a phase where life does not collapse, yet everything feels heavier than before. Nothing dramatic breaks. You wake up, follow routines, meet expectations, and continue moving. From the outside, everything appears stable and normal. Inside, something quietly shifts and asks for attention. This weight is not sadness or weakness. It is the first internal signal that the direction you are walking no longer matches who you are becoming. You may notice that even simple tasks now demand more effort. Motivation fades slowly, not because you are lazy, but because your inner system resists what has become outdated. What once felt meaningful now feels empty. This creates confusion, since nothing seems wrong externally. Energy never disappears without reason. It withdraws when a path stops supporting growth, acting as guidance beneath conscious awareness. When life asks for a new direction, it rarely speaks loudly. It communicates through exhaustion, boredom, emotional numbness, and restlessness. These sensations are often mistaken for lack of discipline, but forcing productivity during misalignment only deepens fatigue. The body and mind are not failing you. They are warning that continuing without adjustment will eventually cause harm. This internal resistance often appears before clarity arrives. You feel stuck between what no longer fits and what has not yet revealed itself. This in-between space feels uncomfortable because the mind wants certainty, while life is preparing redirection. Many people abandon this phase too quickly, escaping into distractions. But this moment is sacred. It is where awareness expands and where honest self-listening becomes possible. During this transition, old identities begin to loosen. Roles you once embraced start feeling restrictive. Conversations feel repetitive. Goals lose emotional charge. This does not mean you failed. It means growth has exceeded previous definitions. Every expansion demands a release. Holding on to expired versions of yourself creates inner tension. Letting go feels risky, but staying misaligned costs far more energy over time. Life asking for another direction is not punishment. It is intelligence correcting a trajectory. Just as a compass adjusts when pulled off course, your inner guidance system recalibrates through discomfort. This recalibration feels unsettling because it challenges habits and beliefs, but resistance delays relief. Awareness shortens the transition. When you stop fighting the signal, clarity begins to surface naturally. At this stage, comparison becomes louder. You look at others and wonder why their lives seem clearer while yours feels paused. This illusion creates unnecessary pressure. Every transition has a different rhythm. Some paths move fast, others require stillness. Your pause is not delay. It is recalibration. What appears inactive on the surface is often deep restructuring beneath awareness, aligning future actions with deeper truth. Trying to force decisions during this phase often leads to regret. The mind rushes to escape discomfort, choosing familiarity over alignment. Silence feels unsafe, yet it carries information noise cannot provide. When you allow space without rushing answers, patterns start emerging. Subtle desires resurface. Intuition grows clearer. Direction does not arrive through pressure. It reveals itself through presence and honest observation. This is where trust becomes essential. Trust does not mean knowing the outcome. It means accepting uncertainty without self-betrayal. Many abandon themselves here, returning to old paths just to feel control again. But true control is inner alignment. Staying present through uncertainty strengthens self-respect. Each moment you honor the signal instead of ignoring it, the new direction gains definition. As awareness grows, discomfort begins to shift shape. What once felt like confusion becomes curiosity. You start questioning choices you never questioned before. This is not rebellion, it is consciousness expanding. When awareness expands, old structures feel tighter. This tension is necessary. It signals readiness for a higher level of responsibility toward your own truth, even if that truth is not fully visible yet. Many fear this phase because it threatens external approval. Choosing a new direction often means disappointing expectations placed upon you. But living aligned with others while misaligned with yourself creates quiet resentment. That resentment slowly drains vitality. Alignment restores energy. The fear you feel now is not danger. It is the ego releasing outdated agreements that no longer serve your evolution. At some point, the body responds before logic does. Sleep patterns change, appetite shifts, sensitivity increases. These are not random symptoms. They reflect internal reorganization. Your system is adjusting to a new frequency of living. Ignoring these signs prolongs discomfort. Listening gently allows integration. Change does not demand force. It requires cooperation with what is already unfolding inside you. This phase often feels lonely because your inner world no longer matches familiar conversations. You may withdraw without intending to. Social noise becomes draining. This is not isolation. It is refinement. When your direction shifts, your attention naturally redirects inward. Solitude becomes a tool for clarity, not escape. It allows you to hear your own voice without interference or expectation shaping your thoughts. The urge to explain yourself may arise, yet explanations rarely bring relief. Not everyone needs to understand your transition. Clarity grows privately before it can be expressed publicly. Seeking validation too early dilutes truth. This stage teaches self-trust. When you stop asking permission to change, energy returns. Direction becomes stronger when chosen quietly, grounded in self-honesty rather than external approval. Eventually, a subtle certainty forms, not a detailed plan, but a knowing. You realize what can no longer continue. This realization brings calm rather than fear. Endings stop feeling tragic and start feeling necessary. Letting go becomes an act of respect for yourself. This is the true beginning of redirection. The old chapter closes internally before anything changes on the surface. Acceptance does not arrive as excitement. It arrives as relief. A quiet exhale replaces inner tension. You stop negotiating with what already feels complete. This acceptance is powerful because it removes resistance. Energy once spent on doubt becomes available for alignment. You may still fear the unknown, but fear no longer controls decisions. Peace becomes the signal that you are honoring yourself. When acceptance settles, clarity sharpens naturally. You begin noticing opportunities that were invisible before. Small signals feel louder. Conversations, ideas, and impulses start pointing in the same direction. This is not coincidence. Alignment creates coherence. Life responds when internal conflict dissolves. The path does not demand immediate action, only readiness. Awareness becomes preparation for movement, not pressure to rush. This stage teaches patience with yourself. Transformation does not reward urgency. It responds to presence. By staying grounded instead of forcing outcomes, you protect the integrity of the change. Old habits may try to pull you back, offering comfort, but comfort without alignment feels hollow now. You have crossed an internal threshold. Returning would require betraying awareness you cannot unsee. As the old direction releases its grip, gratitude replaces resistance. You begin honoring what the past taught without needing to relive it. This gratitude is not attachment. It is closure. When lessons are integrated, they no longer demand repetition. This inner closure frees emotional space. What felt heavy becomes neutral. What felt confusing becomes meaningful. You stop carrying the past forward unnecessarily. Now stillness feels different. It no longer feels empty. It feels intentional. You sense that something new is forming, even without visible evidence. This is where faith replaces anxiety. Faith is not belief in a specific outcome. It is trust in alignment itself. You are no longer asking life to return to what was. You are allowing it to respond to who you are becoming. This moment marks an internal commitment, not to a plan, but to yourself. You commit to listening, adjusting, and honoring truth as it reveals itself. This commitment changes how you move, speak, and choose. You stop seeking permission to evolve. Direction stabilizes when self-respect leads decisions. From here, progress may be slow, but it will be honest and sustainable. With this commitment, life begins responding subtly, not through dramatic events, but through alignment. Things stop requiring force. Resistance fades from small choices. You notice ease where tension once lived. This ease is confirmation. Not that everything is solved, but that you are moving honestly. Alignment does not guarantee comfort, but it guarantees coherence between your actions, values, and inner truth. You may still feel moments of doubt. That is natural. Doubt does not mean you chose wrong. It means you are human in transition. The difference now is awareness. You no longer confuse discomfort with failure. You recognize it as part of recalibration. Each time doubt arises and you choose presence instead of panic, trust strengthens and the new direction stabilizes further. Eventually, movement begins. Sometimes internally first, then externally. Decisions feel simpler even when difficult. You no longer argue with yourself. Energy flows where honesty lives. This is how redirection becomes reality. Not through sudden certainty, but through consistent alignment. What once felt like an ending reveals itself as preparation. The path ahead opens because you stopped walking against yourself. If this message reached you, it confirms timing. You are not lost. You are transitioning. Life is not asking you to hurry, prove, or perform. It is asking you to listen and respond with integrity. Trust what feels calm, not what feels urgent. This phase is not the end of your story. It is the moment the story begins to reflect who you truly are. If this message resonated, stay connected. Subscribe and return whenever life feels heavy or unclear. These videos are created for moments of transition, when silence speaks louder than noise. Share this with someone who feels stuck between endings and beginnings. Alignment spreads when truth is recognized.